I can understand a middle-aged white male in this country. He may not like racism, but it's not going to be at the top of his agenda because it doesn't affect him. What doesn't affect you is not going to be at the top of your agenda. That doesn't mean you support or don't give a shit about it or whatever the case may be. It's just that, it's not something that you encounter every day that affects you personally. Therefore, it's not that top of the agenda.
What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, aka Ferg, joined with my co-host Buff and Rozzy. Fellas, tell them what's on your mind.
I went to Lowe's right before we started recording, picked up some bleach so me and Tabitha can inject it in our lungs and make sure we don't get this coronavirus, man. So,
Trump
team. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all are looking to be safe, make sure you grab your bottle of Clorox or something, man. Get you some Lysol. Be safe out there.
Okay, man. Lysol works too?
Well, I would go with Clorox, but I think Lysol will do it too, man. Just be safe out there. You know what I mean?
Don't drink, but don't do it and drive though. You got to be safe. Let's not be idiots.
Yeah, and do it in moderation. Don't stick a butt plug and pour it down you. That's it's gonna infuse too fast. So you got to be careful.
How do we go there, Rozzy?
Butt plug.
All the little college shows where the guys be doing
I haven't watched any of those shows. I haven't watched any of those shows.
You went to the butt plug, man. So that's the only thing that's on my mind. That, and since everyone else has a coronavirus commercial with the piano music playing in the background saying, "Won't you help this restaurant?" We need to come up with a Three Brothers commercial. Get some piano playing and say, "Won't you listen to this podcast during this downtime and support Three Brothers No Sense?" Since everybody else doing it, man, I think we should join in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, are we gonna do a video with it too?
Yeah, like holding a puppy or something. I don't know. Make it like,
yeah, and then we can be have people dancing and having a good time, but then put in a disclaimer like this can kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know why people do that, or videos do that. Side effects. This can actually kill you, but for some reason everybody's all happy and just cool.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely about that. We need to see if any of our listeners will chime in and be in our video.
What's on your mind, Roz?
Man, same old. The only thing I can tell you guys is Netflix, Black AF. I am not a fan. I've tried. I got to episode 1, finished it, tried to get in episode 2, and I was just like, it feels like a bootleg Blackish with a reality spin, and I don't like reality TV shows, so that kind of turned me off. I hear it gets better after episode 3, so I'm probably going to try to get through it, but that just wasn't there for me, man. I couldn't do it. But I will tell you what's good. Extraction just came out today. It dropped, that Chris Hemsworth new joint. Man, it's good. If you like what is it, John Wick and the gunplay and all that with it, it's like that. It's true to less talk, more action. Nice. I mean, I think there's probably 15 minutes in the whole movie of serious talking. Everything else is just balls to the wall. So yeah, it's good if you just want some action. Oliver was watching it with me, bro. He was like, "This is pretty violent."
Yeah, I'm definitely checking that out.
So thank you for giving me something to watch. But I think people are being too tough on Black AF. That's the name of the show. So, but I think it's a decent show. I mean, it's not any better or any worse than any of those shows really out there. I think a lot of people got caught up in the hype, and as we sometimes do, we are harder on Black items than we are on regular stuff. I mean, I haven't seen Tiger King or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's no worse than Tiger King. It's I think we're willing to watch trash from other people, but when it comes to us, it has to be what it is. I've seen a couple episodes. It has its funny parts. It has a very Blackish vibe, as you heard other people say, with a spin of Curb Your Enthusiasm. But it's kind of funny. It has its moments, but I'm not really too upset.
But that's the thing. I don't. You talk about, people will watch other trash but won't watch this. Like, I won't watch trash, except for the last season of Empire. Byron, I had to say that before Byron tried to call me out
about
still watching Empire.
You like Soul Plane too.
You did watch.
I didn't say I liked Soul Plane.
But you watched it. But you supported it.
I wanted a second or
I think you said you liked
a second version.
You said it wasn't.
I think you did.
I said it wasn't bad. I said it wasn't bad.
I vaguely remember getting on you. I guarantee Black AF is not worse than Soul Plane 2. Or Soul Plane 1. As a matter,
I will tell you what is trash. Kareem and Coffee, or Coffee and Kareem, whatever that is. That is horrible.
Oh yeah,
that is terrible.
I haven't watched that one either. I watched the trailer and I was just like, nope, and kept going.
Good call.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the show, but I mean, I'm not against it. Like I've watched it when I had nothing. When I started watching it, you want to get through a couple episodes and call it a day. But what is on my mind, I want everybody to know that Razi Minmoji shamed me. Is that Memoji? Is that what it is? And I feel some sort of yes, you did. Shame you. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. My face was too fat. My beard was struggling. Like all kind of stuff. Like there's only so many options you can get. It's not like they.
Ferg had like a full on Rick Ross beard.
that's like, pretty much all the beards they get.
You don't have a Rick Ross beard yet. I'm just saying.
And look, for some background, Orazio has the most accurate memoji that I've ever seen. Like, we're gonna have to post it on the page because your joint is like spot on.
Yeah, because he's light skinned with and he's balding. That's what it was. And they got his hairline perfectly. That's what it is.
Oh, shots fired. Okay.
I'm like, man, I already don't use him a lot. And then he just kind of called me out. So that's
no. I
went back to the drawing board like 3 or 4 times.
Let's put it in context for the listeners.
Now I'm a lion.
I posted mine and somebody was like, yours is really, really accurate. And you said, mine isn't that accurate, and posted it. Razi, give me tips. So I gave you tips on what you needed to change to make it more accurate.
And then you started commenting on it.
It all comes down to I have years and years of character creation because of gaming. That's all it is. Like from Dragon Quest to every last making my own sim, like all of that. I know how to make my own character at this point.
It's a light-skinned balding dude with a beard. With glasses.
Don't forget the glasses.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there was a lot
does cover a lot up. Yeah.
There's a lot to be, so.
Oh, so I'm regular. That's what you're saying. I'm basic.
Yes,
wow.
Yes. You're a basic emoji.
Wow.
Basic emoji, nigga. Yeah. Shots fired. We're here. That's what we're doing today.
Okay, all right. I can see this show. This is going to be one
too. So
that's what it is.
Man, it's been a rough week, man. I tell you, it's crazy. I'm just ready to get into this weekend. I know I have a long honey-do list, but it's better than what I've been doing with work for the last few days. My customers and accounts are killing me, and it's so much out of our control. But for now, it's job security. What about you guys? How's work going?
My work is ramping up actually. So, I was out a while with Jenica and that, and so they gave me some leave, and I started working, and they ramped me up really, really slowly. So shout out to my co-lead on my project. She took it and ran with it while I was while I was out. So I appreciate that. Appreciate all my coworkers picking up the slack, everybody on the team. But now it's starting to be where the work is getting so much that she can't pick up the slack because she has enough work for her and me. And I got to come back and pick up my slack. So it's been good, man, because it's one of those things that I'm getting back in the groove of working and feeling like I'm, doing my thing. Because, it's one of those things. I love what I do. And so since I love my job, it was hard not being there. So it's just something to kind of focus again and focus on something that I really like doing and forget about everything else for a few hours out of the day. That it's me and my stuff again. So even though I'm working from home, I'm able to do that. And I think even once I go back to work where I'm back in the office, I think it's going to be, even better. But at least I'm being able to focus on it right now.
Well, my job is doing the whole 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So just completed my first week off again. This week went by entirely too fast. So I don't appreciate that. And I'm going to be spoiled, man. When all this is over and we got to go back to work for real, after 3 weeks, man, I'm going to be looking around like I need to be off.
It's definitely going to change the way people work, though. I mean, I don't know if your job, well, you can't really police them peoples from
the house. Yeah.
Yeah. But I see people like Razi probably going to work from home more and everything. So I don't see us going back to normal for the most part. Yeah,
we, there was actually a town hall session and my job, we talked about that and they were like, a lot of people didn't like working or didn't think they would like working from home. And now they're starting to get more comfortable working from home and they're starting to like it. And the company sees that those folks can work from home and still be productive. And so we're like, all right, so is there thoughts about letting more people work from home more often now? And yeah, they were like, yeah, I mean, we're looking at it now. It makes more sense. So
it's crazy you say that because, in my former life, I worked for human capital company. And that was one of the things we were talking about, how the work environment is changing, especially with millennials becoming the majority of the workforce and how things are changing. That 9 to 5 going in, clocking in is kind of dying off and people want more access to telecommute and stuff from home. Working from home is the new thing. And you had so many business owners thinking that it was going to completely disrupt their daily working habits and stuff like that. But what they're finding is there's a lot of studies that show people are more productive when they have the freedom to work from home and stuff like that. If they know that, hey, I got to get this done. So they're going to go hard for 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever the case may be, instead of go to the office and BS for 8 hours just to say they punched a clock. It is what it is. But I digress. I'm going back to fire shot. So, Razi, did you tell the people about your Teen Jam workout videos you did this week?
I don't know what you're talking about. With the kids, they were so cute.
No, I ain't talking about the kids. I'm talking about your rated R workouts.
Look, man, I had on boxer briefs. I'm sorry that, I needed more support. I guess I'm gonna have to go and get some biker shorts or what did Sean Coleman, she was like the high lift. I'm gonna have to give me a high lift pants. So that's all I can think of, man. I mean, I'm doing what I can, trying to cover up. They shouldn't be looking at me like I'm a piece of meat anyway.
When you facing the camera doing jumping jacks. It's only so much people can do. Well, I'm done with Razi for today. So, fellas, let's keep the party going. Let's go ahead and pay some bills and come back with our questions.
Love, exciting and new. Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever. It's
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships at Bermudan and British Registry.
All right, we're back. Three Brothers No Sense. It's that time of the show where we call Razi out to the carpet and have our one mic stand. Razi,
hey man, I just want to know why did Snoop Dogg buy an umbrella? For drizzle, my nizzle.
So bad. Boy.
It's so bad.
It's because you're setting it up. See, I think we're gonna have to change the segment, and I'm just gonna have to slip them in naturally. It's just really hard to set it up when the expectation is all eyes on you.
But you have a whole week to plan for these, right?
I mean, yeah.
You know what? I'm done. I'm good. It's not my place to judge. That's just one vote for no. So
Buff, what you think, man?
It was bad. It was bad. Yeah.
I looked at it and I snickered a good bit.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what happens. I see them, like, people are actually, it's funny, people are like shooting them to me now. Like, they're tagging me on them on Facebook and stuff. So I'm just using what the people want. I'm just the messenger for these.
I hear you. Now I hope people are enjoying it in some kind of, I don't know, crazy way.
Well, Razzie, keep being you, dude. Keep being you. Well, we're going to change it up again this week. We've had some of our listeners reach out to us and give topics and questions they want to ask. So this week, I'm going to yield my question to one of our top listeners, young Waukesha. Razzie, can you take it away for us?
What's up? This is Waukesha. First, hats off to Three Brothers No Sense. I appreciate this podcast. From your fresh take on popular culture to giving a voice to the topics that concern the people. And I even love the controversial social media debates. So keep up the good work. My question for you today is, considering the pandemic, should a non-custodial parent who resides in another area be allowed to get his or her child for visitation?
Who wants to take that one first?
Anybody want to take it?
I'll take it. Yes, but with almost anything, there's always a yes, but. So a lot of things I think have to be considered, like how involved is that parent before this whole pandemic thing was going on? Like if we're talking about a parent that was involved heavily, doing everything he or she was supposed to do on a weekly or bi-weekly or whatever you guys have worked out basis, then yes, I think the two adults should get together, come to some type of agreement so that their parent can continue to see their child. Now, if we're talking about a parent that come around for maybe birthday, Father's Day, and 2 other weekends in the year, and all of a sudden he or she want to flex and say, look, I need to see my child, then I can see where that parent is like, no, or if you think they're not as careful as they're supposed to be with everything that's going on, maybe they're not taking the pandemic as serious as, like we talked about a lot of conspiracy theorists on the last show. Maybe they don't even really believe in it. They don't believe in wearing a mask when they go out in public, wiping stuff down. Then I can see where that parent would not want that non-custodial parent to take their child. So my initial answer is yes, but if some of those other factors are going on, then I can see why that parent would say no. But something should be attempted to be worked out if that parent genuinely wants to see their child.
Yeah, I'm kind of along with you, but depending on location too. So there's a difference when they're both in the city. Like my kids are kind of co-quarantined between my house and their aunt's house, right? So but we've made that distinction of nobody else comes to your house, nobody else comes to my house. So it's an extended family. So it's they're doing both houses, but we know the group is controlled. So if it's like that, I'm fine with it. But if it's like Ferg said, they're the person that's, I'm going to go by mama house. I'm going to stop by here. I'm going to go see auntie and everything. And they call that quarantining because they're not going out generally in the public. Then no, and even if that y'all are local. But when you talk about if they're in a totally different city where they are 100% interacting with another circle, again, and then my kids have to leave my circle that I'm interacting with, go get exposed to that circle for a weekend or a week or whatever, and then they got to come back and to my circle. That's when I'm to the point where at this point, no. I've seen videos where there are grandparents that live across the street or down the street from their grandkids, and the grandkids aren't going to the grandparents' house. You know what I mean? Because the thing about it is we're quarantining to keep it in the circle that these are the only people that can be exposed to this as little as possible. So FaceTime, I mean, it's one of those things that it's a month. Unless your kid is, like you said, we're used to every other weekend and they see me all the time and everything like that. If your kid is used to not seeing you for a month, 2 months, 3 months anyway, what is another 2 to 3 weeks of them waiting before they see you? So, you know, it's there's a whole lot of nuance to it, but truthfully, like I could think about me and Haley, right? So if it was, hey, this was happening during the summer and that's my normal time to get her for 2 to 3 months or whatever, you know, and I'm like, hey, I really want to come get her, I'd probably be like, no, I'm not coming to get her until July or whatever, because I don't want to cross-contaminate and expose her up here too. And then not only that, but I'm coming down there and I'm exposing your family to me and whoever I've been with and everything like that. And so I would probably be like, no, I'm not going to get her for the next 2 to 3 weeks, you know, and play it out. If it's something where this happens and it continues for another month or two, then we've got to reassess and say, okay, you know, hey, we're going to make sure you don't touch anybody else and you don't go out for a week or two. I'm not going to go out. And then we're going to go ahead. We're going to make that exchange. And then, okay, now we know that it's safe. You gotta think through it like that. I mean, it can't be just on a whim. It's Wednesday. I want to come get them. And, you know, I've been all over the place and you've been all over the place and we're just going to cross contaminate. So you got to think through it more than just, I want to see them, so I'm going to see them.
Basically be responsible. Like if you're going to get your child, be responsible and be understanding. Like I said in my initial answer, and what I think you said too, is like, you have to understand where that parent is coming from if they don't want their child to come with you, or you all's child to come with you at that time. Like, it's about keeping them safe. So don't be so selfish to where you're risking your child just in the name of, well, I want to see my child.
Mm-hmm. I think, that's what I'm gonna pick up. So first of all, you guys made some points about, you know, the normal, like if he's or she's involved, you know, weekly or, you know, every in the month. I kind of feel you there, but what we all have to realize, even if we have split custody, we have to realize nothing is normal about the life we're living today. And we don't know how long this new norm is going to be our new norm. So even if I saw my child or we had partial custody, or, you know, I could be, you know, I see my child once a month or once every, you know, 3-4 months, I don't think that plays as big a part as us looking at the bigger picture. It's what's best as a parent, what's best for our child. Because one thing I hate is when we give one parent more autonomy over a kid than others. Like, well, you can't see our child. Like, let's sit down and work out what's best for our child and what steps we can take and agree upon, because you have some people who might go all the way to the left, and another parent that goes all the way to the right. Like, just because you're all the way on the left doesn't mean that I have to lean all the way to the left. Let's find out what works best for our situation. Let's look at what the experts are saying. Let's look at what's really going on. And that's kind of hit or miss because there's so many different things, but let's start looking at that. You know, Razi, you brought up like, hey, if you had, you know, Haley was still a kid and you were trying to see her for the summer's coming up, you might delay it. But it's like, hey, I'm supposed to pick up I'm coming to pick up Haley at the beginning of June. Mid-May, I need to start quarantining or rationing off my outings and stuff like that so I can prepare and limit my exposure, because you've already eliminated, you know, this lady's already eliminated her exposure. Like, Haley has a very small circle when she's at home. Now, hey, I can't expose her to that again. Like, you have to start looking at those things. It's what can we agree on? What is best? Not based off our opinion. It's like, what are we really seeing? What's really going on? Because I see this in so many different things where one parent feels like they have the upper hand and they can always dictate what the child does. And I think that's probably a part of this, is because if you're facing that situation, this is a snowball effect. I only got to see my child this time. I only get to see my child this time. And now that we're quarantined, I can't even see my child at all. For some people, it's part of a snowball effect. For some, you might have parents being overly cautious, or some parents that aren't being cautious enough. You have to decide, how bad do you want to see your child? If you want to see your child bad enough, you're willing to do everything within reason to make that happen. If I got to start wearing a mask every day when I go out for the next 2 weeks and take my temperature every day for the next 2 weeks, then that's what I'll do if I really want to see my child. Like what holidays passed? Easter. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people get to see their child. And it was kind of like, well, what were you doing Good Friday? What were you doing the day before that? Were you acting like everything was normal, and all of a sudden Sunday, because it's a holiday, now you want to see your kid, and now you're upset because you can't see him, but you did nothing to prepare for that? We knew how Easter was going to roll, what day Easter was going to fall on weeks from now. Weeks before that. Years before that. So it was like, when you found out, like, hey, I'm trying to see my kids for Easter, hey, what do I need to do to ensure that I can see my kids for Easter? Not waiting last minute.
Yeah, communication is key. But to go back, the thing about custody and everything like that, that custodial parent does have a little bit more say than non-custodial. If y'all have joint custody, y'all are equals in that. Yeah. But let's be honest about this. That custodial parent can say, nope, not this weekend.
And that was the question, custodial.
Yeah.
She did say custodial. I'm thinking, because I'm seeing more people do the joint or the co-parenting thing. So custodial, yes, they have the right, but also at the same time, just because you have the right doesn't make you right.
Oh, definitely. That's why you see a lot of people having to go back through the courts and everything like that, and define when their weekends are and when their holidays and when they can get their kids, and it's gotten some custody agreements get down to where the drop off is going to be and everything, and they have to be there at that time. Like, it gets that serious when you're talking about that custodial parent that just will not give an inch. And so that non-custodial parent has to take every inch they can, and they have to make the court decide, because that person's not being rational with that other person. So, and we don't know the whole situations. You may be custodial because the other person just was crap, right? And so that may be the reason. But at the same time, for that child wants to be, they want to be in that parent's life. And if the parent is making strides and they're trying, then like you say, y'all gotta make that, y'all gotta have a discussion. Y'all gotta make that happen for that child.
Yeah. So you have that, communication is key. It's like, we might not get along. I don't like you. You don't like me. I think you're a piece of crap. You think I'm a piece of crap. Here comes this pandemic. It throws everything off. I'm supposed to see the kid every other week or whatever the case may be. Now we're quarantined. If the court says I'm supposed to see them every other week or whatever that is, and I truly want to see my child, we have to work out something, because I need to understand why I can't see him. Just because you don't want anybody else, well, you still go to the grocery store, you're still exposed to people. You still do all these things, you're still exposed to people. So let's come up with something that works for us. And I don't need, the custodial parent just dictating, well, you need to check these boxes, and you're making it tougher. It's like, hey, let's be reasonable. Like, hey, I work, I might have to go to work and do stuff. So that custodial parent might go to work and do stuff, but it's still like, is my being fair? Is your criteria for me to see the child harder than the criteria you give yourself? Like, I could work from home and you go to work every day, but you think I'm the one that's going to expose a child to something. Mm-hmm. Are we being fair? Are we taking out? Are there ulterior motives? I think that's part of it. If we're both trying to do what's best, and we have a working relationship, and we're truly trying to make this work so our child gets the best of having two parents, even though they're not together, then are we willing to make this work? So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's one of those things. If you don't believe in it, you think this is a hoax, or, you go drink some Lysol or Clorox today and say you're good, then maybe you shouldn't see your kid. You
definitely don't need the kids then, no.
But you're doing everything. You mask up, glove up, you wash, sanitize, wash everything, take your shoes off, take your clothes off before you walk in the house, do all that stuff, limit your circle, then that's fine. Because I do believe in parents having the right to raise their kid. And yes, one is custodial, but usually that's by default. From what I understand, I haven't dealt with that situation, but somebody usually wins custody of the kid. And that doesn't mean the other person is unfit to be a parent. It's just the court saw in your favor, because you brought up, I think Byron one of you guys brought up grandparents. To me, that's completely different. My kids haven't left the house in over a month outside of our walks around the neighborhood. They have not made contact with anybody in over a month, and that's just the way it is. So those other people they kind of have no say in it because they're not the parents. But when we're parents, like that, I feel like that's a must. It's a key component of those kids' lives. Now, my sister and my stepmom and my nieces and other people, they really play a large part. And I know my kids miss them and they miss my kids. And I wish there was more we can do together. But as a family, we decided, hey, our kids ain't seeing nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Great question, Waukesha. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
By
the way, did you notice all the things she liked about the show? Guess what she didn't mention?
My jokes.
Your jokes.
I'm pretty sure it was an innocent omission, Rozzy. That's all that was.
No. That's all right. Either way, Waukesha, we got a Three Brothers No Sense mug coming your way. So appreciate the question. Anybody else, if y'all got questions, man, I can't send mugs to everybody who asks a question, but if you got questions, matter of fact, the next question we get, I got a mug for you.
We're about to have water bottles and tumblers too.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times she did that, because I feel like she had her bedroom voice on.
I wouldn't say nothing.
No. I'm gonna say it like this. Listen to this. We hear you,
Y'all don't
Waukesha.
let nothing slide, man. You want me to go, Rozzy?
Who's up next?
Yeah. You can go.
All right, man. So you guys know, because of my job and because I also do politically entertaining, I kind of shy away from heavy politics on this show. But we're going to say F that today. I want to get into a little politics right now. So there's a movement that's been going on lately, especially since Joe Biden has pretty much secured the Democratic nomination. And, just like 4 years ago with the Bernie voters, they're saying they're not going to vote for Joe. Other people saying they're not going to vote for him for other reasons or whatever the case may be. And so there's a movement going on where people are saying, well, look, if you're not going to vote for Joe Biden, you're pretty much saying that you're voting for Trump. You support racism. You support sexism. You support everything that they believe Trump stands for. So don't act like you're some noble person that's not voting for some type of principle that you have. You are supporting Trump and you're guaranteeing him another 4 years if you stay home and don't vote. And my question to you guys is, do you agree with that? Because I know that is a lot of people don't want to see him get 4 more years. And a lot of people do feel like if you don't vote, that's pretty much a vote for him. So do you guys agree with that, or is there a little more nuance to it than that?
Well, help me understand what are the other options then. I mean, it might not be a vote for Trump, but it's a half a vote for Trump. It's
if you look at Wisconsin and Michigan and Florida, Pennsylvania 4 years ago, the people who stayed home, that kind of was a vote for Trump.
Yeah, if it's not a vote, it's a half a vote.
Yeah,
so,
what was it? I can't remember what state it was. Like 23,000. He won by 23,000, but over 100,000 black people, just black people,
I think it was Michigan.
Everybody else. 100,000 black people stayed home during that time.
That's a basketball arena.
Yeah. So
small.
I think what it is it sucks. That's how our system works. But that's how our system works. That's why I said, what are the options? Like, if you don't vote for this person, then you're essentially giving this guy another vote or a better chance. So it might not be a full vote, but it's half a vote, and it adds up to the point where, why aren't you supporting Biden? I'm not a Biden fan, but the thing about it is the reasons people don't like Biden, do they supersede the reasons that you're willing to let Trump possibly win? It's okay. He might have supported the Iraq war. Trump didn't. I hear that's one of the arguments I hear. The latest sexual scandals and mishaps with Biden. I don't know if they're true or not, but we've seen similar situations with Trump. I was trying to think of what I wanted to call him, but I'm not even. It makes no sense to dump on this guy. Like, it is what it is.
You're president. That's what you call him.
Yes, you're president. You're right.
Hey, I'm in Virginia. We went to Hillary. Texas went to Trump.
Alabama went to R. It didn't matter. Like, it just does not matter. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, it sucks. But that's the crazy. It sucks. Those are the options. But it's like, and I think people are so big on making a statement. I want to prove a point, and your point. Are you that upset with Biden that you're willing to let Trump win or give him a chance? And for me, that's a hard no. Unless something else, it was crazy. Biden pretty much has to slap my mama or do something to my wife and kids right now for me to feel like he's a worse. And you know what? It's not even Biden or Trump. It's his supporters. Like, I can't empower these people and let them think that they can run this country, continue to get away with the things or the ideals that they've been spewing for the last 3 years. Like, that's where it is. Like, Trump himself, I can care less about. But another 4 years of people feeling like this is truly America, I don't know. And also when I look at our position globally, can you imagine what other countries are saying? Think about what we're saying during this time.
They laugh at him. I think a report came out last year where at one of the G8 summits or something, they laughed at him.
But that was that was during regular life. I'm talking about during a pandemic. This dude literally said
he said that. Yeah, he said that shit. No. Inject.
Yes.
Somebody
we can get the light inside of us somehow.
And so for somebody from another country sitting there like, really? Y'all are about to reelect this dude? Like, I have no respect for him. It's hard for me to respect the voters and people who are willing to not necessarily vote for him, but are willing to let him get back in office. There's a level of respect or questioning that I have for your thought process. What do you think the rest of the world is thinking? We're losing globally.
Oh yeah, we are.
We're our president is an idiot. We're leading the pandemic. Like, we're just giving crazy rhetoric. We're too selfish to do anything really about it. We're boycotting and protesting, our civil rights because they want to, quote unquote, try to save lives. The rest of the world's looking like, wow. And they're about to put him back in office? Come on now.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, I just hate hyperbole. I hate those all or nothing statements of if you don't vote for Biden, you support racism and Trump and all that. Like, I don't even look at every Republican as they support Trump. Mitt Romney is probably going to vote for Trump, or maybe he may do a third party. But truthfully, the thing about it is Trump has told the Republican Party line when it comes to their actual platform. And he's done a lot of things that Republicans like. So people are weighing that I will let him do that stuff that I really don't care about because I'm getting what I want. I'm getting these conservative justices. I'm getting, all of these judges, and I'm getting all of that. I'm getting the tax cuts. So
but it outweighs racism then. It outweighs your morals.
Right.
So
for some people.
You might not be a racist, but you ain't anti-racist.
You're not a racist, but you ain't anti-racist. I like that. Yeah, that's it. But the thing about it is, even for those Republicans that are supporting him, I don't look at that 100% as they're racist and they support that. They support the platform because when you're voting, it's not all or nothing. I don't agree with every last thing on the Democratic platform either, but I'm going to vote Democrat because they more likely align and most of their platform aligns with what I think. And so that's how you have to kind of do it. So you do have to weigh that. And for those folks that don't see racism or care about it or don't think that it's a big deal, then they will excuse that and they will allow. No, it's the truth.
It's the fact that people are willing to turn the blind eye to things that don't affect.
Exactly. They will.
The question is, where do you draw the line? Where's your human decency? It's like, hey, you can do all this stuff to black people because I'm not black, and they probably deserve it.
I don't know if you remember. Way back, I think it was like episode 4 or 5. When we talked about hanging out with Republicans and stuff like that, and I said being a Republican is almost a lack of empathy, and that is how I see it. It's like they don't empathize with those races and everything that are negatively affected by racism.
Where do you draw the line? These are the type people I feel like if slavery were a choice again, and it benefited them financially, they would really consider it. That to me is how we look at things. It's like, maybe it's not as blatant as it used to be. It's like, but hey, my retirement funds and my portfolio could go up 20 points if this happens. Yes, some people might have to die, but 20 points? Come on now. Like,
but we've gotten away from the question because now we're talking about Trump supporters instead of these Democrats that are not.
But it's the same
voting
thing
for Joe Biden. It's not.
Where do you draw the line? If I have somebody who this is what he resonates. This is Trump a racist?
Yes.
Is Trump misogynistic?
Yes.
What are the things that make you say, I don't like Biden, but I can't support somebody or allow somebody? It's almost like, hey, this dude is beating a woman. And we talked about this, I guess, is he's beating a woman, but we're going to stay out of it because of A. I guess it's kind of the same situations. Like, what are we willing to let slide because we don't support the other person? We don't support Biden, but we're willing to let Trump get reelected.
And most of those folks that are saying that are saying I'm not voting for Biden, even if Trump goes in, is they're just saying that I'm going to stay out of it, y'all's shoes. And so I don't like that notion that staying out of it or saying even if that person goes and they vote third party, they did their civic duty to vote who they thought they wanted to be. Doesn't matter if they felt like my person's not going to win. They did their civic duty to go vote for who they wanted to vote for to become the president. So you can't give them this linear, hey, you got to vote for because we're in a two-party system, you have to vote for these two people because they're the ones that are going to win. They are one of those two are going to win. But you have folks that are independent like Bernie Sanders that wins. So it's not necessarily all about that. But on a presidential level, we know that's not happening. So yes.
I vote for anybody but Biden. Like not voting for Biden. Well, the options are not voting for Biden or not voting for Biden. It's not if you go vote for Trump, if you vote for an independent, all that yields the same result. It's one less vote that's going to help Trump get into the White House again.
Because Republicans already said it. It's like the more and everybody, like all the pundits, everybody, all and the political strategists, increased voter turnout inevitably leans Democrat every time. every single time. So that's why Republicans want to stop people from voting and do all the voter suppression and all that stuff.
But we're doing it ourselves, though.
But we do. We do. I mean, our participation rate is what, under 60%. But the thing about it is, I am happy that younger voters are starting to vote higher. The participation rates in younger voters are higher. I told you what it is. It's Gen X. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. Gen X.
Back to blaming Gen X. Man, you guys said a lot. I just want to say that I understand where Ferg is coming from, but I definitely agree with Rozzy. I can't just cast the people that don't vote for Biden or don't vote at all as like that means they support this or that means they support that. Some people genuinely look at both choices and morally or whatever they have in them say, I can't support that and I can't support that. I can't support either one. So it's like, do I eat or drink? You know what I mean? I'm not going to do either one. So I'm just going to stay home. What I can say for me, well, before I get to me, let me say this, because Razio touched on this too. Like being a Republican means lacking empathy. And I can understand a middle-aged white male in this country. He may not like racism, but it's not going to be at the top of his agenda because it doesn't affect him. What doesn't affect you is not going to be at the top of your agenda. That doesn't mean you support or don't give a about it or whatever the case may be. It's just that, it's not something that you encounter every day that affects you personally. Therefore, it's not that top of the agenda. So when someone like Trump comes along that we deem as probably more than likely racist, they can overlook that if he's cutting their taxes, if he's good for business, which I don't think he is, but let's just say they think he's good for business or whatever else they think he's doing, then I can see why they would support that. But with Joe Biden, you got the allegations that Tara Reid came out that he raped her, like she moved the bar from sexual assault to flat out rape. So some people may believe in that. They may not like that Trump is a grabber, so they're just going to stay home. My thing against Trump is, for me personally, he makes racists feel safe. I think we've always been a racist country. We've always had a significant amount of racist people in this country. Just look at how the response was to Colin Kaepernick versus whenever you see all these white people protesting about something. But I want to get back to where racists don't feel safe. Like we always knew they were here, but they wasn't this bold. They wasn't marching in Charlottesville, with Confederate flags and burning crosses and stuff like that. Trump makes them feel safe. So I can't rock with that. And he's not smart. He's not a smart man. On top of that, he's a crook, in my opinion. He's supporting, a pharmaceutical company that he was trying to tout as coming up with a vaccine when he had stock in it. He said he's going to step away from business. He's not. He surrounds himself with crooks. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, one of the worst slumlords in New York City history, had cases Trump had cases against him and his father for racially discriminating people. So to me, he makes racists feel too safe, and he's a crook. And so people people like to say he speaks the truth. No, he speaks unscripted talk. He doesn't use talking points. He speaks from the top of his dome, but that doesn't make it true. See, most of our politicians are scripted and they go by, certain talking points or whatever. Trump doesn't do that. So to a lot of people, he fools them. Oh man, he's not a cookie cutout candidate like somebody else. Therefore, he must be telling the truth. No, he still lies. He just has unscripted lies. So those are the reasons that I can't rock with him. But I'm not going to knock somebody that stays home. I would prefer that they come vote for Joe Biden, but I don't want to cast them as supporting this or supporting that.
But this goes back to remember when I said Democrats are horrible with controlling the narrative. Like, you have one of the worst presidents in history in the White House right now.
He's about to get reelected.
He has a good chance of getting reelected.
He's going to get reelected
because the Democrats can't find a good narrative to be able to motivate people to go against this guy. That is crazy. That is crazy. Like their marketing arm, whoever they are, just needs to be fired. And they, I don't know. I mean, it just makes no sense that we can't we, as in the Democrats, can't find a good narrative that motivates people. That, I mean, they always want to have the moral high ground. And the problem with that is a lot of people don't care about having the moral high ground. They want to win. So we need to find a narrative that makes us win.
I'm glad you said that too, because a lot of people like to look at Democrats and Republicans as like equally evil, equally bad parents. No, the Democrats got rid of I don't want to say great, but they got rid of a good senator and Al Franken because of some picture he took. But they still support a president that has admitted that he grabs pussies. So don't come with that. They're both equally bad. They're both bad, but they ain't equally bad.
I get what y'all are saying, man. I truly do. And I wish it, and I go back to, I wish it wasn't this way. But like sometimes we have to accept what is. It is this way. It's like you staying home means you might, okay, let me change the thing. No, you might not be a racist, but you're willing to let racism thrive.
That now I can.
And so that's my thing. It's like, you might not be this, but it's like my moral, I'm so morally sound that my morals won't let me go out and vote for this guy, but I know for a fact what I'm going to get with this guy, and I'm okay with it because I stood by and I proved a point. It's at a certain point, it's like it's a call to action. It's abstaining, and abstaining a lot of time sways the vote. It's like you might not agree, but what don't you agree with more? I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this. Well, if you had to pick one, because right now you do. Any other election, well, outside of the first one, if this would have been the same situation with Bush, I get it. I might disagree, but I get it. There's nothing positive you can say from this guy unless you're searching for something positive to say. Like it's just not like, you know what? I mean, I wasn't a Bush fan, but it's like before he got elected, it's like I can't really say he's a bad person. I couldn't say Reagan was a bad person. I mean, before he got elected.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about before he got elected. It's like you can't necessarily say they're bad. I just don't agree with. I might not agree with their politics or the things they're talking, their campaign strategy or their campaign promises, but I don't think they're a bad person. This nigga's evil, and he's an idiot. Like there's nothing good to say about
he's
him.
Not bright.
Like we're the stuff that we say about him that people support. It's scary. It's scary. So that's my thing. It's like you might not be a racist, but you ain't about to stop racism. So it's what's more important to you? Hey, I didn't vote for somebody that did this, or I assisted, or I increased the chances of somebody who spews racist and misogynistic rhetoric to stay in that position. That's what happens when you don't vote for Biden. And I'm not a Biden fan.
All right.
I hope he has a great running mate. All my candidates got out early. It sucks, but
all right. On you, Rise.
I'm mad. Sorry.
You got us fired up now.
Hold on a second.
My bad.
Hey man, what you doing in my chair? Oh, I'm back, y'all. So y'all talked about politics with somebody? That wasn't.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, I'm back. I had to go see what Tyler wanted. I'm back now.
There's a little dude named Lil Evil.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll listen to the show and see what y'all talked about, bro. Because you know I don't talk politics on this show. Go ahead, dog.
I had two, but I think this will be a good follow-up from the last episode. You know, we talked about old buddy giving away the $10,000 to the folks and everything like that. And to skirt the politics of it all, since Lil Evil's here, so maybe you want to call him back, but I want to know, why is it that America and society makes us lean on charity instead of just making sure that everybody can live by the work of their own brow? Like, why is it that we have to have welfare, or we have to have folks giving away these charities and all this stuff in the richest nation in the world, in history? Like, not just in the world now, but in history, we're the richest nation in the world. And we have homeless veterans, children that can't eat, people that work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours, 2 full-time jobs sometimes, and still can't make ends meet. Why is that? And why aren't we changing it?
Well, the answer lies within the setup of your question, my brother. You said we are the richest nation in the world. We are the richest because we have a lot of greed. So with greed, you have to have workers that have non-livable wages. You have to have poor people. You have to have people that are willing to work for minimum wage or less. And so when I say we have greed, we still pay contractors to build weapons that our military hasn't used in over 30 years. We still, you guys have heard of the Bridge to Nowhere. We pay big companies to build things we don't need all the time because it's all about keeping some people rich. It's all about getting more and more rich. Like there's no reason for CEOs to get like a $200 million bonus each year or something like that, while their workers are making like $5 an hour. There's no reason for that whatsoever. And we can disguise it and we can claim it's under the umbrella.
Capitalism.
Yes, there you go. It's under that. It's under that. You know what I mean? But what it really is greed. And it's just that simple, man. And until this nation, gets rid of that wanting to be greedy. We talked about a couple episodes. It wasn't like monetary, but when this pandemic hit and how people bought up all the toilet paper and all the sanitizer and then tried to resell it for a profit. I don't want it to sound like I'm just talking about corporations. We as a nation, individually American citizens, are greedy. We're greedy. And if we can make a buck off someone's misery, we won't hesitate to do it. And that's just what it is, man. It's the mindset that this country has. And we try to shame people that ask questions like you do, Razi, and call it socialism. By the way, we have plenty of socialism in this country. Socialism is always good when it benefits a certain amount of people. But when it benefits a different class of people, then all of a sudden it's wrong. But they try to shame people by calling it socialism. And, you don't want people to work. You just want people to be lazy and everybody earn the same thing. No, man, the problem here is just greed.
I don't even know if I want to hit on socialism, but what I'm going to say is it's and maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's always misleading when we see ourselves as the richest nation in the world because 10% of the population has 70% of the wealth. So when you look at the other 90% of Americans, they ain't that wealthy. It's like we have money because of the Halliburtons and all these other large corporations and people that have that. But when you look at the average Joe, when you look at the average person, it's tough being in a capitalist society. And everybody, because we have such a disparity between the average American and the upper 10%, nobody wants to be the average American, or not many people want to be the average American. We try to be in that 10%, so we do whatever it takes to get there. And it goes back to those are the people who set our moral standards. It's why are there homeless people? Why are there homeless vets? I think it goes back to we're not willing to sacrifice our comfort. I think it on so many different things. When it comes to economics, when it comes to political reform or any kind of reform, it's we all make a decent living. Could we do more? Could we give more? Could we give more of ourselves? Could we give more of our finances? Yes, but that means Z don't get to stay home. That means Tab don't get to drive that nice car. You know what I'm saying? Like it's what are we willing to give up? And I think, and we're well off, but I think you think about people who, I'm not saying we're not balling by any means, but we're in a pretty good situation. You look at other people who are living check to check, but they're still way better than some of these third world countries. Razi, being in the military and going, around the world and seeing what I consider true poverty, it's some crazy stuff going on out there. And a lot of people could do more and we could spread the wealth more, but it's like, I'm not willing to give up what I have to help other people. And I think that's the true American way. It's if I help, that means I'm giving up. I'm only willing to give up, and I'm not saying people don't help. You're only willing to give up so much. How uncomfortable are you willing to be? Because there's so many great things you can have if you're selfish.
Yeah.
If you take care of yourself, you get to have the nice house, you get to have the nice car, you get to take these nice vacations, you get to do all that stuff. But Byron, don't go on a vacation for 2 years. How many people could you help by saving that vacation money?
I don't know.
we never consider it. You know,
we never consider it.
You know, downsize the cars. You know, what if we go get a Prius, a certified used Prius, not even a new Prius, something that saves on gas or something small, and you know that car note you're paying, we give that to somebody else. You know, it's a family of three. You guys, we could all stay. You stay in a smaller house.
But I think what you're talking about is slightly different, though. You're talking about me working and then just giving my money to someone. I think Razio is saying, why don't we all have a livable wage to where nobody is poor, nobody is homeless? Like, I don't think going to my 9 to 5 working and saying, hey, James, come here, man. Let me give you a couple of $100. I know you stay home all day and just chill, so let me hook you up.
But I think it's two sides of the same coin. It's you don't want to proactively give, but you don't want to take a pay cut. The other option is, okay, so James can make $15 an hour instead of $7.90 or $7.90, whatever minimum wage is.
But I think you're attacking it like a Republican. Why would you want the working class person to sacrifice? Why not the person at the top sacrifice his salary so that James can get paid more?
Yeah,
but why doesn't everybody sacrifice?
Because of equality. So that is the problem, is that the wage compression happens when the low wage workers don't get raises, and they don't get minimum wage. Hasn't been increased since the early 2000s, late 90s, I think, when it went up to 7 something. So that's the last time that those minimum wage workers have had a pay raise. 15, 20 years, right? That during that same time, CEOs have increased their salaries by like 200, 300%. And that's base salary, not even their bonuses and stuff. So that's where they're talking about the wage gap has widened to its widest point ever, right? So like Byron's saying, the problem is it's not the middle class worker. It's not the person making 50, 60, 70,000 a year. Those people aren't going to be making a big pay cut, but the people making 150, 200, and 300 may drop down $15,000, $20,000 a year. And if you're making it now, they're not going to cut your pay to get you down there. But what'll end up happening is the business and the companies will have to start making choices on who they're giving these raises to, right? And so you may not get a raise for 2-3 years, so until you kind of catch up to that. But those minimum wage workers end up getting bumped up because my thing is, I hate to hear minimum wage jobs are for high schoolers and everything and all of that. My thing is, when school's in and you go to McDonald's to pick up your food for lunch, that's not a high schooler serving you that lunch that day, but you still want to go grab it. You want to go to Subway. You want to, have all this stuff. The thing about it is, man, we as a nation have to make that conscious decision. We figured out how to get $2 trillion and infuse it into the economy on a drop of a hat, just like that. You know what I mean? And that $2 trillion could have made college free for like 2-3 years for folks. It could have,
reparations. It could have paid reparations.
It could have paid reparations. It's all kind of stuff that they could have done with it. So, the thing is, that's where I like AOC when she says, nobody bats an eye when we're like, oh, we need extra money for military spending. But as soon as we say we want to give free college education or universal health care, then it's where's it going to come from? And so the thing about it is, man, as a nation, we just have our priorities mixed up. We want to pay for the things, like Byron said, that greed and making people richer and richer and things like that. But I was listening to Brandon in that special COVID, special, and he was talking about how this everybody being so poor that economic impact of everything. Actually, it's a homeland security issue. Like, we need to do better with our people. And especially if we're paying taxes, where our taxes go. It's just all about where we try to decide where we're going to pay our taxes. Are we going to give a corporation a tax break and let them not pay taxes, but at the same time subsidize their employees because they pay a minimum wage and that's not enough to live? So we have to give their employees Section 8 and food stamps and everything else. So when you actually look at the money that the government's paying out to those people, plus the tax breaks that they're giving to that company, the company's not giving anything back, truthfully, to the nation. So that's where, we have to get smarter with our tax policy. We got to make sure that companies are paying taxes at a fair rate, that millionaires are paying taxes at a rate that's higher than ours. Like when we pay 25-30%, but millionaires are having an effective rate of 4%, that's not right. There's something wrong with that. So tax policy, when you look at that, when you look at minimum wage policy, when you look at, homelessness policy, there shouldn't be a veteran on the street because every veteran should be able to go get a Section 8 voucher today and be in a house tomorrow. Yeah. There's no way. You should be able to take your DD-214 into the Section 8 office, plop it down, and they give you a voucher right there. And be like, go find you somewhere to stay.
But my thing is, I challenge this. I think we're so quick to always say, and the reason I made this argument is because we're quick to say what the other person should do. So we're talking about the top 10%. So let's say bear with me, top 10% say, you know what, you're right, let's do it. But at the same time, we need the top 40% to do this as well. What are you willing to do to make that happen as well? And a lot of us feel we don't want to sacrifice our comforts. And so if we don't want to sacrifice our comforts, why do we think other people, no matter how much money they make, because there's people that look at us and they would give their right arm to be making what you and Buff are making.
That is true. Yeah. But I think to answer your question, I think like a 10% hit on Jeff Bezos, that ain't going to hit him like it would hit me or probably you. A 20%, a 20% hit, same thing. It's not like, you got to look, this is the richest man in the world who had a divorce, who I think had to give his wife 50% of his wealth.
And still was the richest man.
And made her the richest woman in the world. Yeah, I constantly hear how Amazon workers are paid like
I get that. That's got to change. But think about how many people take your household income and cut that in half. And I don't know what it is. I don't have any idea. But you know how many people would love to make that?
Absolutely.
Now, that's my whole thing's like,
and that's why I'm a big proponent of a minimum wage increase, because minimum wage, what it does is it pushes up the bottom workers and out, so they're making closer to what we make, and at the same time we're going to either get pushed up just a little or we're going to at least stay the same. So it's not going to affect us much on our salaries. So
but what if it did? Like, my thing is, you're saying, hey. I mean,
and my thing is, I'm fine with taking a little bit of a cut.
And that's the thing.
When you talk about structure and it being smart, it needs to be tiered. I'm fine with taking a 5% pay cut or a 3% pay cut, and I can absorb that, where he talked about Bezos taking a 20%, or, our CEOs taking, 10%. So that's why we have a tiered tax system, because of that. It's like you can absorb that hit more as you go up. So I'm fine with taking a small cut.
How many people are? Like, I get what you're saying, but
I get it. And that's the problem is politics. And that's why I say we as a nation, I'm not just looking at the politicians, because the politicians are doing what their constituents want, is save me money, don't tax me, cut my taxes, do what better for me. And so, and especially in those Republican leaning spots, that's when Republicans get in and they cut taxes and they screw us over and they cut and they explode our deficit. And then a Democrat has to come in there and raise taxes to get us out of the deficit. And then everybody says, oh, see, they raised taxes, so you shouldn't elect them anymore. That's the cycle that we've been in for the last 25, 30 years.
The reason I disagree with Ferg is because he's asking for fair play in a rigged game. The rich and powerful always have the advantage. You're not in a secret meeting where you're getting briefings ahead of time about this pandemic, and you got the knowledge to go buy stock in these companies that are going to skyrocket. You working class Ferg are not going to get that kind of access.
I get that. So I get that.
So but you're also asking working class people to be on the same playing field with people that make 100 times more than them. What I'm telling you is, I think if you want working class people to make a sacrifice, you can identify like we know bad practices in Apple, Amazon, Nike, things like that. Stop supporting those type of businesses, maybe that aren't paying their workers a livable wage. Buy different products or things like that. But I just think asking working class people to take a cut.
I get what you're saying.
People.
I get what you're saying. But the thing about it is you're looking at it from a working class, and I don't know what percentile we were being, but I'm looking at people at that bottom 10%.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, Byron, come on, dude. But you could do a little something. I know Bezos might not do this. And even if he did, that'd be great. But if you did this too, and I'm not saying we should, but would we be willing to, if somebody presented, this is the solution. I'm going to tax the rich like this. I'm going to tax you like this. And the bottom 40%, bottom 50% are going to step up. Would you be willing to do that?
Most people won't, because you got to think about the universal healthcare argument. Bernie was saying, I'm going to tax you a little bit. Your payroll taxes are going to go up, but you don't have to pay health insurance anymore.
And that's
so
my point.
Ultimately, it's going to be cheaper for you. And people still couldn't get on board and be like, they're like, oh no, you're increasing my taxes.
Because we want the top 10.
Your check's going to be bigger, bruh.
We want the top 10% to do something, but we're saying, hey, we just need a little bit from you. We're like, nope. They should take all the risk. And they're like, no, we ain't going to do that. If you ain't willing to do it, why would we be willing to do that? Because once again, the same way we look at those people, they're people. You go back home today, go back to Mobile, there's people looking at you like you big baller, man. What's up, big money? What's up, big money? Let me hold some. Because they see you are what they want to be in life. They don't see anything bigger than you. They know they're not going to be Jay-Z. They know they're not going to be, Bill Gates. But I know Byron. I know Buff. I know him. Like, to be close to you is to be close to godliness for some of them people. And so in their mind, you got it.
Yeah, but there you got it is like, you should be buying the drinks at the club that night. I can do that. But when I'm looking at Jeff Bezos,
but you can do that.
I'm looking
some
at
people
Jeff
can't
Bezos, okay. But what I'm saying is the pay cut I'm asking those people to take, that doesn't amount to the little things I can do for the people back home.
But we're saying a little bit. What if those drinks you bought, we asked you to buy those drinks every month? That $50 out of your paycheck every month times me, Rozzy, and all the other listeners shifted the pay scale for somebody else. Yeah. I don't know the numbers, but are we willing? That's my thing. I'm not saying it has to be big. I'm just saying there's people that think we can do more. Mm-hmm. Yes, we think other people can do more, but there's people that think we can do more. So I think it's part of like, we're not willing to. I don't think it's, I'm not going to say human nature. The American culture, people do not want to do anything that, for the most part, that inconveniences them or they're not openly willing to do. Like, it's, I ain't going to take a pay cut. Why would I give $50 less on my paycheck for somebody else? They need to get a better job. I want to buy it. I rather
you
go
really
buy.
Sound a real Republican-ish.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, I rather get a better job. I think that's how people look. Like, yeah. I rather go buy. I rather give you $50 and go buy drinks than you taking $50 out of my pocket. Like you said, you'll go do that. You'll go buy a round of drinks for everybody every week if need be, but you can't just take it out of my pocket. Get your hand out of my pocket. Like, we going back to Mount. Get your hand out of my pocket. So, like. It is what it is. My bad.
Heavy political episode. I like it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, since he here,
let's go all the way there.
We're gonna have to get Frank on here one day, man. We gonna get him on here? Is he gonna loosen up?
Yeah, he'd be down. I talked to him this week, yesterday, matter of fact.
So tell him take his PE hat off.
Oh, he would love to come on, man. Matter of fact, okay. I talked to him about it. Yeah.
We'll do a joint episode with Politically Entertaining.
There you go. No. They can't. I don't think we can get on their show.
You've been cussing a lot lately, so I don't know.
I didn't cuss a lot today.
Yeah, you did.
He only cursed like 3 times. It's fine. It's fine.
But they were well placed. They were needed.
I let one go too, so
it was effective. But it's been a good episode, fellas. I think I say that every week. I had fun this episode. Let's go ahead and close the people out and tell them what's up for the week.
My thing is, listeners, y'all probably by next week or a couple weeks, whenever I can get some good clippers, I'm going ball. So let me know how it looks.
You've been going ball.
If you see me, I've been going ball, but like I'm going all the way ball.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and shave it ball and see how this works. So let me know how that looks. Maybe I'll post it in the health group, and they can look at my head instead of something else. But we'll do that. And other than that, man, just keep listening, keep liking, keep sharing, all those other rules of the podcasting, and just keep praying for me, man. I'll throw it out there. My son's been having a rough week this week, and so just keep praying for the family, man, because I laugh and I joke on here. This is my time to let loose, but I'm still dealing with loss, still dealing with everything, and so just keep praying for us. And I appreciate all the prayers and the thoughts and the check-ins, and everybody still checking in on me. I'm getting calls, texts, and everything just randomly, and it brightens my day. So keep doing that, man, and keep praying for me, and thank you.
Per usual, echo what Orazio said. In addition to just keep supporting the show like you've been doing. Listen. Ferg's going to go over all the rules, but, definitely share. That's an important one right there. Like, you listening means everything to us. But if you can just share it, get the word out, that's the main reason behind the merchandise that we have on the website. It just helps get the word out. So just let other people know about the show so we can continue to grow. Thank you, guys. The Instagram page is growing. 3 Brothers No Sense. We have a lot of fun on Facebook and IG. So just check us out. Continue to listen. I love you two brothers, man. I enjoy this every week. So just thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Waukesha, for the question. And you guys be safe. Continue to take this as serious as possible. Do not listen to some of these politicians. This is serious. It's actually killing people.
Well, I love you too, Buff, since Razi's not going to say it.
Yeah, he's not comfortable.
I love you too, Buff.
But sound like a hostage.
So filthy.
But like my brother said, really appreciate the support. Listeners, tell us what you want to see, hear, communicate with us. I really appreciate Waukesha asking that question. It brightens my day. And we have some other people who've reached out to us. So we're going to make sure that we continue to incorporate you guys in our show and make you part of it. So my challenge to you guys is to, during this pandemic or this quarantine state, I challenge everybody to share our podcast and try to bring us one new listener. So whatever we have for this next week, I hope the week following we can double that, because I think we have something to say. It might not be the right thing, but it's our thing, and we're trying to speak for the people, and that's part of it. We try to share, and this is therapeutic for us, and we get a lot of feedback that's therapeutic for other people and makes them think. Our goal is just to question what we know and what we originally think, and just to kind of grow through it. So speaking of growth, I mentioned last week that we were having our first therapy session. I misspoke. It was actually this upcoming weekend. So today is Friday. Tomorrow, Z and I will be having our first therapy session. So I guess I'm looking forward to that. So I'll let you know if I break down and cry or something like that, but I'm a G, so I don't think that's going to happen. But it's a great episode. Please tune into our brother and sister podcast and all the other Black podcasts. So PE, we already mentioned, Film Noir File.
Truth Be Told, sports, yeah. Woo-isms,
the Bruz Bookshelf. If you guys are looking for something to do and listen to, just tune in some good podcasts. People are out there really putting their hearts and their minds and their voices out there. It's time to support us and give feedback. So looking forward to what you guys have to say. It's been another fun episode. 3 Brothers No Sense. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you guys next week.